you break down resolution is really repeating a solution. So that's not really like, it's like kind of nonsensical. If the solution is already made, you're not really repeating, you're repeating the process. Most people, when they do it, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start strong, and I'm gonna go in 3 days a week, gonna eat like this and eat like that, and so forth. And then they have it all drawn out, and then they start doing it maybe good for the first week, 2 weeks, 30 days, like you said, but they not realizing then like things starting when that initial shock or the initial motivation, or they missed a day. Okay, well, I didn't get it in this time. Okay, I do it tomorrow. Or I didn't eat right today. I eat right next week, and everything like that.
Yeah.
Comes in there. So, and then that guilt starts coming in. They kind of shame about it and stuff like that, or they discouraged about it. And then they kind of fall off and they decide, or they're looking for a perfect time for everything. I'll start back in February because I didn't do good the last couple of weeks.
Welcome to another exciting show of transformation. Prosper with Wayne, creating wealth, health, and happiness in your life. With your host, life and business coach, author, entrepreneur, and lover of life, Wayne Sutton. Prepare to become excited, expand your beliefs, and truly prosper in all the areas of your life. Enjoy.
Fitness in 2025, 2026 looks different than it did years ago. And I want to bring on my guest. I'm excited to have Trey with us today. He's going to talk about fitness, but what I love about this episode, so if you're listening to it, like, what am I going to gain? What am I going to get out of this episode? I love how Trey talks about doing online fitness, coaching, training, but he's done it more for artists and the creative space. And that's a unique angle. And so, again, if this is your first time here with us on Prosper with Wayne, hit that share button, subscribe to us, and sit back and enjoy a great episode. Trey, it's good to have you on, my man.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to make it, man. Glad you have me.
Absolutely. So, man, I'm going to jump right in. We were talking before the show. You helping people with fitness, and that's a big part of us here at Creating Health, Wealth, and Happiness is fitness. But you're helping people in the fitness realm, but you're really got a unique angle there. You're working with musicians, different artists, and different, just tell me a little bit. I'd love to hear that and how you got into that space.
Yeah, so to group it all in the whole is artists, entertainers, and creatives. And now, if you want to say more specifically, and yeah, there's music artists, musicians, actors, and models, those more, but definitely to get all in all artists and entertainers and creators, or people who not necessarily artists and entertainers themselves, but work with those entertainers, or just doing something on a day-to-day basis creatively, like ourselves, like entrepreneurs, they are creators as well, in that space. So something like that as well. Yeah. But with the artists and entertainers, how I got into that space is it kind of happened over time. I mean, I've been doing fitness coaching over 12 years now. Started off as in-person training, had my own spot, group coaching and stuff like that before too, as well, various gyms and stuff like that, independent contracting and other people's gyms. But later on, I had started going into online coaching in that space because being an online coach or being an in-person trainer or coach is kind of hard when you don't really have your own spot, but you constantly got to bounce around. Not a lot of gyms really want you at their gym, especially if they got their own trainers. But all in all, that and multiple other decisions led me to go fully online. Right around 2019, a little bit before COVID, and wasn't really into this niche then, but later on, maybe 3-4 years in it too, I was looking to a niche because they like, if you're gonna go online, it's a little different than when you're doing in person. Because in person, you kind of like privy to whoever come through walking through the door, whoever calls your phone. You just basically work with that person. Now online is not like that because it's so broad and so many people looking for certain things and stuff like that. So you got to really kind of like niche down to kind of stand out in a sort of sense. This prior to this, I didn't really have a niche. I just had like an avatar, 25 to 55 men and women looking to lose a little weight, gain strength, a little muscle, something like that, energy and everything.
Yeah.
Now, when they were talking about niche, I didn't really know what the niche down into. People say niche, so niche down, niche down. Some say
Yeah.
don't niche down, niche the specialty, and I didn't really know what to do or how to go on there. So I took this program. Somebody had a program where it was like a 5-day challenge to start your niche, and that kind of helped me get on there. And that kind of catapulted in there. So they basically were like, it's either what you are, let's say, either what you are passionate about or what you are what. And I didn't really want to talk about what I didn't really want to help with what I've been through. Like only thing I could think of at the time was I had a prior knee injury. I had broke my knee and going through that and so forth. So I didn't want to really like focus on that. So I talk about the passion. So I'm a bit of a creative myself. I used to write. I still do write poems, write music. I make music myself as
Yeah.
well too, and do other things creatively as well. And I thought about, okay, since I'm going and I'm looking to make music more, stuff like that. I haven't did anything just professionally yet, but I was like, okay, well, look, this the lane I want to go in. I'm passionate about this too as well. Why not help the artists, entertainers in that sense, in that way? So start thinking about what they going through when you think about people constantly on the road, people constantly, their schedule is hectic, going every which way, and it's hard for them to really like get to a structured
Yeah.
workout program or diet routine. They constantly on the road, the late nights and the after parties. So diet is crazy. Sleep is not all the way there. So there's a lot of little things that's going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those artists, entertainers need the most important thing is they body and their health to really, do what they need to do creatively, being on stage, being on set, be able to travel those arteries, roads and stuff like that and everything. So that's when that kind of came born in for me to like go into that niche there.
Well, man, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and I think what you said is really good. Something you've gone through or something you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I do health, wealth, and happiness, it's not really niche down, but it is. And I'll explain that. People say, well, when you should pick a niche. And I did. I picked people that really want the edge.
Mm-hmm.
They want the edge in their health. They want the edge in their finances. They want to be happy. They want something better. So that was my niche. But if you really look at what you said, man, like entrepreneur, I worked for probably one of the top coaches in the world a couple of years ago, and I was really expecting to gain a lot of knowledge working for him. But one of the first things he said was, "You need to get your fitness in check. What time did you go to bed last night? What time did you get up? How many hours of sleep did you get? How much exercise you do today? What peptides are you on? What supplements are you on?" He just kept going. I'm like, he said, because if you don't have that as an entrepreneur, you're not going to make it. You'll burn out. Your health has got to be there. And another thing he really hit me with, man, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Trey, is like, people respect you when you're healthy, when you're fit. People respect you. If you need respect in the entrepreneurial space, but I'm sure you need it in the creative in the creative space too. I mean, that's just reality. You get to help a lot of people, man. I'm curious, like for our listeners, people that are listening, what do you think is the biggest? So we're fixing to hit 2026 and what? The
Yes.
time of this recording 2 days, the time it's released, we're there. We're fixing to get the gyms are going to be slam packed.
Right.
I've seen Planet Fitness ads every other commercial. People are making these New Year's resolutions. They're going to work hard for about 3
Yeah.
days.
Right.
What do you tell people that are like wanting to get in shape, takes care of their health, but if something don't change, they're just going to quit after 30 days, man? Like, what do you tell those people? How do you help them keep going?
Well, don't, first of all, the New Year resolutions, I always go with that. When you think of, when you break down resolution is really repeating a solution, that's not really like, it's like kind of nonsensical. If the solution is already made, you're not really repeating, you're repeating the process. The solution is made one time, and everything. So you're not really you're not making another solution every time
That's
you
good.
don't do it. Yeah. So not going in with that mind frame, but also with the not going in with an all or nothing approach, meaning that most people when they do it, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start strong, and I'm gonna go in 3 days a week. gonna eat like this and eat like that and so forth, and then they have it all drawn out, and then they start doing it maybe good for the first week, 2 weeks, 30 days, like you said. But they not realizing then like things would starting when that initial shock or the initial motivation wane, or they missed a day. Okay, well I didn't get it in this time. Okay, I do it tomorrow. Or I didn't eat right today. I eat right next week and everything like that.
Yeah,
And then it
yeah.
comes and then that guilt starts coming in, they kind of shame about it and stuff like that, or they discouraged about it, and then they kind of fall off and they decide, or they looking for a perfect time for everything, and then like, okay, well, I'll start back in February because I didn't do good the last couple of weeks. I start back fresh in February, so I always looking for a perfect time to actually start or do something, or wait until they motivated. So those two things, though, it's never a perfect time, and it never will be a perfect time. And and also waiting to again, waiting to the perfect time, and also going gun ho and everything. It's not.
Yeah, yeah. So taking one step at a time,
Mm-hmm.
making some small changes.
Right,
I've got to
yeah.
ask you, man.
Go ahead.
So you're doing people like, so it's remote, it's
Mm-hmm.
online. So you're giving
Mm-hmm.
them workout schedules. You're are you tracking their like food, nutrition, supplements?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'd love to hear you if you're tracking that, but also to love to hear like, because I've had a carnivore on, and that we worked with a carnivore a couple episodes ago. I got a
Right.
lady coming on next week, or the
Yeah.
following week, that's vegan, and then I've got somebody coming in a few weeks talking about stem cells. There's 1,000 different ways of doing it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on like optimal health through nutrition, through supplements, peptides, whatever. I mean, I'd love to hear where you like. What do you recommend? Let's start with food, man. Like, what do you recommend for people? Because I have this discussion with my friends all the time, and we don't
Man,
agree.
it it depends on the person, the goal.
Yeah.
Everybody is different, so it's kind of hard to say. Let's say, for instance, if it's weight loss, I would say the person need to like realize, are they eating too much, or are they eating too less? A lot of people think about the eating less part, but they don't think about, or they don't think about eating like they got to eat less. Not, definitely, if you're eating too more or whatever, your body don't process it, it turns into fat. But some people don't realize that they could be eating too less that still will have the same effect as if they were eating too much. That's what I would say first. Like really, like know what they are doing when they going toward their diet. All this is gonna be mostly gonna be a diet first and foremost. So once they know that part, they can kind of like know what their calorie intake for that particular goal for is losing weight, and that's it. So it's really like I say, I just tell people more so this is no fully what they are looking to do, and then having it mapped out like a avatar, like what's the end goal first. Once that person is fully like, okay, what's Wayne doing in the end of 2026? What did he look like? What his actions are? What is his diet regimen is and stuff like that. Once all that is critiqued out and everything in a more I won't say manifested, but in a more vivid manner, then you'll be able to say, okay, then I need to work. This might be the system I need to work out on. This might be the diet I need to do. I got this type of, and then whatever your situation is and schedule stuff like that, I can dedicate 3 times a day, 3 times a week to this particular workout program, so on and so forth. And then it's mapped out. Now it might not be perfect, but you have some general guideline to go by, and then you can be able to see if that's not working or not. Because it's sometimes trial and error. I'm talking about the people who really like don't know what's going on, but it's trial and error. So once they see if that work, keep going. But if not, switch it up, see what it is you're doing. But you want to be able to track it too as well. That's another thing a lot of folks don't do is track what's going on.
Yeah.
And then so once you will be able to track what you're doing, you can be able to pinpoint what you need to change, what you need to keep doing, or what's not working.
Yeah, man, I love that. I think what you said there is so good, man. People don't track it because earlier this year I had a surgery. I had some major issues, and I was getting back on my digestive like journey. Like, what can I eat? Can I eat? And first thing every doctor said, track what you eat, track what you eat. And I think it's the same thing if we're going to track our how many reps did I put in, how many miles did I
Yeah.
walk, what time did I get up.
Yeah.
I personally use, I got an Apple Watch, but I don't really use it a lot for that. I got an
Yeah.
Aura Ring, and the Aura Ring really
Okay.
helps. Do you recommend any wearables or any kind of tracking
I haven't,
software?
I haven't used them myself, but a colleague of mine's, he definitely like recommends using one, no matter what it is. He said, really, if it's like even one that like, cheap, that probably won't show you much, but it will tell you something, and everything like that. So
Yeah,
he recommend them. So I've been thinking about getting me an Apple Watch myself just for that manner.
yeah,
Cause like
yeah,
sometimes if you're not in the gym, you want to know what kind of calories you burning and stuff like that. You really don't,
yeah.
fully know. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking about an Apple Watch myself, but
Yeah, it's real interesting, man, 'cause it
mm,
gamifies it for me. Like, if
okay,
like, I slept last night, and
yeah,
the night before, I had like an 83 sleep score out of 0 to 100. I'm like, "Man, 83." So
yeah,
next night, I took a little more melatonin. I got to bed a little earlier, slept a little later, and I was at a 94 sleep score. I'm like, "All right," so for me, it's like a challenge. It's a
okay,
personal, so I think that's pretty cool. Me and my wife went walking the other day, and her Apple Watch didn't record her walk, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I wasted that walk." And I'm like, "You didn't waste a walk.
right.
You just
But
didn't get
I get
back,
it. Yeah.
But, that gamification, I think, helps. I think that
Okay.
does help.
Yeah, it do. I have done that before, like on the treadmill, kind of like if you want to race for time, like okay, I'm okay in a certain okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes. I need to get 300 calories in the 10 minutes or something like that, and everything
Yeah,
like
it's
that. Yeah.
good.
So yeah, I do it. That helps too, and there. Us guys love those challenges. I don't know, like yeah, women do too as well, but that does help me, and everything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, I
Or
think you gotta push.
yeah,
It
um,
reminds me, I can't compete, but I can't compete. I'm 52 years old. I can't compete with the 25-year-old bodybuilder anymore on that. But what I
yeah.
can do is compete with Wayne. I can compete
Right.
with what my next,
There you go. There you
How
go.
about supplements, man? Do you recommend any supplements for people?
There's a lot of bold supplements out there. I always kind of joke around saying the Gladiator 5,000, and everything. Those type of
The
one that have
marketing
those,
department go
yeah, there
crazy
you go.
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that have those bold claims and bold names. Then if it sounds too good to be true, then it usually is. I'm not gonna say like I know every scientific name that's behind these things and so forth, but you just gotta really like I would say do your research on what's in it, on that behalf and everything, and then look at the ones that's very reputable in the market and check those out as well. But it's a lot of them that really have all these bold claims and everything that doesn't do anything. But I would
Yeah.
say when you go with supplements to think about this. Supplement means is to give in addition in the lack thereof. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the definition I'm using. Basically like if you lacking something, it's supplementing what you lacking and everything, and everything. That if you are eating enough, usually you're supposed to be getting enough from your food. If you're not really like working out, like you are trying to do I don't know, is the American Ninja Warrior? I don't know you ever
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
if you ain't trying to do something like that to a extreme or strongest man and stuff like that, then yeah, you might need some, supplements on top of just eating, and everything like that. But mostly 90% of it you really getting from food, if not 100.
Yeah.
And all your nutrients, your macros, micros, and all that stuff like that and everything to get you along the way. But if you're not, let's say for instance, you're not getting enough protein, or whatever the case may be, then a supplement, a protein shake, a protein bar, something like that to help you move along. It's not the be all end all. You taking this and you finna get jacked, or you taking this you finna lose weight.
Oh, yeah,
What
man.
you know what I'm saying?
I
Stuff
remember,
like that.
man, back probably in my 30s, man, you're right. I was buying everything that the label sold. Man, I was spending
Uh,
hundreds and hundreds because it sounded good,
right.
and
Yeah.
I didn't notice any difference in the gym other than
hmm
I just
And and the other thing about
peed out
that,
$300 worth of vitamins or supplements. Then I did some things I did notice, like creatine and different ones.
okay,
I kinda noticed a little bit of difference, but I'm just
right.
curious.
Yeah. And the thing about that is everybody's different. It might have didn't work for you, but it worked for the next guy. So it
Yeah.
depends on. That's why I say I can tell you this supplement works. it might not, it did good for me, but it might not work for you. So it's a trial and error when it comes to those supplements as well.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I got some friends that are in the marketing, copywriting, and that kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
they told me, they said, Wayne, if we run an ad, this was a number of years ago, we run an ad and we get a 1% response rate through an email, we're happy.
Yeah.
He said, but when we're selling bodybuilding supplements, we expect 3 to 4% response. And I'm not a golfer, but he said golfing and bodybuilders. He said, and this is his words. He said those old white men and those men who don't want to get old. It's either one, the golfers and the bodybuilders. He said they spend money. They spend
Okay.
money. And, he changed it. In fact, he changed his whole business just to go after golfers and bodybuilders, became a multimillionaire doing it because he said, a good supplement that is all of a sudden you write the right copy on it and people take off and they buy it. Like they want that little extra edge. So, but I think too many people, I agree with you, just they use a supplement, but they're not willing to get out there and do the work.
That too. Yeah.
Get out
That
there
too.
and sweat, eat the
Uh,
right foods, get the rest you need.
yeah. They like I said, they expecting that to be the magic pill in a sort
Yeah.
of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hadn't found one yet, but I'll keep looking. Keep
Oh
looking.
yeah. Hey, if they got one out there, I'll be out of business, and everything like that. I was, yeah, but I wouldn't say out of business. You still need some kind of direction on how to work out. So I might be still on that part, but the overall, nutrition and stuff like that. But go ahead, my bad.
Well, man, I think that's really good, Trey, because so, part of my business as business coach, I've worked with fitness trainers such as yourself. I've worked with other people, helping them build out their coaching programs. And I remember, we'll go back even like 4 years ago, they kept, maybe 3 years ago, that people started talking about the semaglutide and the GLP-1, Ozempic and all that. And then one of the coaches that I worked with said, Wayne, now he didn't, he said, I'm not going to lose money because people are losing weight with a shot.
Yeah,
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the niched. He niched into that. If you are taking semaglutide or Ozempic or Wegovy, whatever it's called, I will coach you on how to maintain your health. And so he just changed
he just
lanes.
leaned into it. I guess.
He just changed lane and told him, hey, you need to make sure you get your protein. You still need to build the muscle. You need to do this. You need to hydrate. And so he built a whole coaching program on that. So I do agree, even if, marketing and or technology changes when it comes to fitness. Really funny, man. So I told you about the Oura Ring. I got a Facebook ad the other day. It said, do you own an Oura Ring? I'm like, yes, I do. And it said, well, we want you to try this sleep supplement for 30 days and we'll mail it to you free and we'll give you $100 to try it. We'll do this and we'll do this. And they just wanted access to my data. And I'm like, I ain't gonna, there's nothing really in there worth privacy. I mean, how good I sleep. But that's somebody, and I think that's what's real important. We're gonna go from health over to wealth a little bit. People in your industry, you've got to be able to look at that niche, like where are things changing? There wasn't like I wasn't willing to buy a sleep pill because I sleep well. But if they said, hey, let us help you sleep even better, and then they'll use me as a testimony. Yeah, I'm game for that. So I think look at what trends we're in today, and I think with COVID, man, a lot of gyms. A friend of mine had a massive gym here that my wife went to, shut them down. Now what he does is he does online training and he does some small group. And I mean, you just got to be able to adjust.
Yeah,
We don't
definitely.
we don't watch VCR tapes anymore. You got to be able to adjust. Uh, Um, yeah. So, man, you work with people. Let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest secret to, and I mean, I don't know, but somebody that they're busy, they're creative, they're, whatever their life is, what's the biggest secret to finding health or improving their health?
I mean, like I said, just really getting up, doing 1%, not 1%, 1% better than you did the day
Mm,
before and the week before, the month before. Steps. I always say you want to be consistently progressing, not just progress, because they always say practice make perfect, but you can practice the wrong way and never reach what you need, never
yeah,
did.
that's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? So
That's true.
so yeah, so I always say be consistently progressing. So it
Yeah.
is what you're doing, whatever change that you made is what you're doing, going towards moving the needle of what you want. If it's not, then you need to stop doing it and figure out another way to do it, and so forth. Whether that be with a help with a fitness coach, whether it be, you Googled and research it, or just making a slight change. But, you want to be, and also, like I said again, jot down what you're doing. So you won't go back into that realm. You can kind of like get a idea of what you're doing. And then over time, be cognizant of what you're doing, and you will start learning yourself, learn your body, how your body responds to things, how you respond, how you start feeling, how your clothes start feeling, what your actions start being, and everything like that. And it started just really like snowballing from there, and everything like that over time. But doing something 1% every day, it don't have to be anything big or super, or very significant, but just something better than what you were doing before.
That's good, man. That's so good. That's so good. Hey, man, for my listeners, how can they get in touch with you? Like, give us your website now in the show notes, guys. He's got a link tree. You can check them out, and I'll make sure the website's in the show notes. But for those listening, maybe not checking show notes, what's the website people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can find me on at www.nextworldfitness.com. That's everything spelled correctly. NEXTWORLD fitness FITNESS.com. And pretty much
Next
there, and
level.
like I said, you will have my link tree. It got more stuff on there too as well.
Awesome, man. So Next World, nextworldfitness.com. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Listen, man, I've really enjoyed being on here. So I probably know your answer on this, but I'm going to ask anyway, man.
Okay.
We're health, wealth, and happiness, man. So pick one of those three: health, wealth, or happiness, and leave us with a parting word of wisdom.
Putting me on the spot now.
Yeah, man.
All right. Leave with a word of wisdom. Let's say either one of those. You saying?
Any one of them: health, wealth, or happiness.
I would say I would go with health. The reason why I say health, and you say a word of wisdom, like alluding to what you said earlier, you take care of your your health, everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
The wealth start to come, whether you rich in health and rich in finances as well, that will come to as well. And then you will be more happier too because you're not drained, you're not depressed, you more or less stressful and everything like that. So I would say health with all three.
Yeah, man, I love that. I've said this before on the show. I'll say it again. I read this somewhere, and I don't know where I read it, but it stuck with me. A healthy man can have 1,000 dreams, but an unhealthy man has only one. That's to be healthy. But yeah, take care of your health. Hey, guys, if you're listening to this show, Trey, thanks again for being on, man. It's been
Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. So go check out my man's website, get in touch with him. If you don't have a coach in the fitness world, hire my man, get started. For the rest of you, again, hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, Apple, be sure to follow. Give us a 5-star review. Let somebody know about us. We've got some great episodes coming up. I was saying earlier, I've got some people going to talk about veganism. Somebody's going to come on and talk about stem cells. We've got people coming in talking about artificial intelligence. And we got some people coming in that have had some near-death experiences and actually saw the other side. So it's going to be really interesting. No matter where you're at, follow us here and make it a great evening. Until next time, go out there, prosper, and do everything and best you can do.
Thanks for joining us again at Prosper with Wayne. Be sure to subscribe to us for more exciting, life-changing episodes. Go today, in fact. Go now to prosperwithwayne.com and enter your email for our exclusive newsletter and other resources. God bless and go prosper.